Good morning, everyone. It's my real pleasure to welcome you to the second day of Perspektywy Women in Technology Summit. My name is Joanna Bagniewska. I am a zoologist and a science communicator, and I'll be your host at the Enigma stage today. So you'll probably see a lot of me throughout the day. And without further ado, we would like to start with a panel. And it's a very exciting panel because it involves superpowers. It's the superpowers of Polish IT companies, and we'll find out what these are. And to lead this panel, we will have an economist, Michał Joga, from IT4She. So Michał is at Intel. He is currently the Corporate and Governmental Affairs Director for Europe at Intel, and he's also served as an advisor to the President of Poland, leading educational projects that have everything to do with connectivity and new technologies. So he will come with a team of experts in Polish IT, and you'll be able to hear all about the superpowers that we have in this country. So please give your warmest welcome to Michał Joga.
Come on. And the panelists, of course. Thank you very much. Please come here with me. We have 5 panelists today. Very nicely balanced, as you see. Take your seats. We have the mics. Okay, and we grab your mic, right, Joanna? Thank you. So now, when we take the mic from Joanna, there is no one to keep timing, right? So we can talk for hours. Thank you.
Giving up the responsibility here, it's a tough job for me, but I trust Michał.
Okay. So I would like to say, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if I see any men here, but I would like to introduce our panelists today. I have a great pleasure to have with us Andrzej Dopierała, a CEO of Asseco Data Systems and a board member of Asseco Group. Also, we have with us Aleksander Łakomski from City Handlowy. We have with us Agnieszka Sywka from Comarch. Then the next sitting on my right is Jenny Feinberg from Booksy, and Małgorzata Madalińska-Piętka from NetGuru. Thank you very much for accepting the invitation. And now the warm welcome for the panelists. Thank you very much. Okay, so before we start, because I think that might not be so much obvious, what your companies are currently doing. So I think I would really very much appreciate if you could say a few words, each of you. What are you focusing? What's your occupation? Please to introduce shortly to our audience. Andrzej, start with you. Yeah.
Good morning, everybody. And first off, I am very tense, and I cannot understand why the organizers asked me to join instead of our woman vice president from Asseco Group. But okay, I will try to do my best and not disappoint you. So I've been working in IT sector since 1991. Some of you were not born back then yet, and this is still an exciting sector, and I really love it, and all the changes that this sector has gone through, and actually the technology solutions are bringing to our daily lives and to the way we learn, we work. That's really exciting. So hope we will have a chance to talk about it today some.
Cool.
Hello, good morning. I'm Aleksander Łakomski from City Handlowy, and I think City Handlowy as the bank doesn't need an explanation of the company, but somehow it needs explanation why my presence on the IT panel. So it has started with us as a bank being a customer for IT companies, but we have realized we have a lot of common, there are a lot of synergies that we can do together with IT companies going global and the bank supporting them in this journey. So we have launched a special program for new software developers companies that we support. We have started cooperation with SODA, the Software Developers Association. We have recently run a survey among the companies with our Cronenberg Foundation and SODA, and you can see some of the outcome of this report on the screen, and the final report will be published within the next 2 weeks. So yeah, this is why bank participates in IT Congress.
Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Agnieszka Cywka. I am from Comarch, and I'm working as an IT and business solution manager. I'm responsible for loyalty and engagement solutions for travel sector. So I'm working with our clients in airlines and airports industry, spanning from east to west. So companies like Etihad Airways, Heathrow Airport, Turkish Airlines, British Airways, and similar, but Comarch is also delivering software for a variety of sectors, also for companies like ExxonMobil, BP, and essentially we are an IT house developing proprietary software, but also we are providing managed services for client spread across the 90 different countries, and also having our presence in those countries as well. So that's why I'm here, and I'm happy to be involved in the panel, and I'm happy that it is actually varied, so that's good.
Hi, I'm Jenny Feinberg. I'm the Chief Growth Officer at Booksy. Hopefully, lots of you have tried Booksy. We're one of the fastest health and beauty marketplaces in the world at the moment, based out of Poland, founded in Poland. Not an IT company, but a true startup that's coming out of the Polish ecosystem. I'm also an American. I'm actually based in San Francisco, and I think my point on the panel is to provide an alternate viewpoint on many of the topics.
Thank you. I think we have another mic. Yeah, sure.
Hello, everyone. I'm really excited to be here today with you, and I hope that you are enjoying the conference as well. Michał, thank you so much for inviting me. My name is Małgorzata Modelińska, and I am CFO and board member at NetGuru. NetGuru is a software consulting company that serves clients globally. We export basically 100% of our services. And if you could imagine our customers, these are mostly innovators and entrepreneurs who are looking to change the world through technology, through software, and we would like to help them and accompany them on this digital journey.
Thank you. So as you see, I'm very excited to have a very good mix, not only gender-wise, but also company-wise. So we have a couple of big companies, the best well-known IT companies in Poland, and also we have don't take me wrong, newcomers, so to speak, especially compared to Comarch and Asseco. And we're going to talk today about the strengths of Polish IT companies, about the superpowers. So I hope you had a chance to visit the exhibition and the conference yesterday. It's full of big multinationals employing a lot of programmers in Poland. But Poland we have our own IT companies, and they are growing strong. They have very competitive products and services, and that's actually what we would like to cover today in this panel. And I was very lucky and fortunate as a leader of the panel to have the report from Citi before that, because we actually have a couple of very interesting numbers there that give us a good perspective into our discussion. I would say I would like to start with the topic about the products or services of Polish IT companies, right? So I looked at these numbers, and some of them, one of the charts says that about the clients of Polish IT companies, so that 62% of the clients are banks and fintech companies, 44% of clients are logistics. Similar number is also consulting and law firms, and half of the clients are also from the IT business. So the question is really, do you have any thoughts what we as Polish companies should invest in? Are there any niche areas that you think we could compete with the companies from outside, that we can actually build our brand, strong Polish brand outside of Poland? Whoever wants to take. Andrzej?
Well, I believe that in IT, especially in software development today, Poland is a powerhouse. And what has happened and is still happening over the last few years, a lot of software development services which big global players used to outsource to the countries in Asia, they find themselves outsourcing to us, yes, to companies here. And I know many successful stories of Polish entrepreneurs who started companies and are doing quite well, selling their software development services to those clients. So I am extremely pleased to learn when some company announces they will open a big software development center in Poland, especially if it happens in some area of Poland which is not as developed as the biggest cities. So this is one area, and this is very good. The question is today still the time to start such companies? Frankly, I don't know. Definitely, in my opinion, we're at the peak of the demand for those services. And this is a double-sided sword, because when our salaries are growing, and as we know they are growing and they will grow eventually, which is good for us as people living here, but at one point of time our big advantage that we have today may diminish, yes, because we will not be as financially attractive as we are. And surely Polish developers are considered very good for the right reasons: hardworking, skilled, competent, very motivated, and very creative at the same time. So we have very strong assets. But if the price isn't right, I'm afraid some of the focus may shift to some other countries. So in my opinion, the trick right now is to take the money and make money on what we can, which is selling software development services, but keep on inventing products. And the products is something, if I look back at Asseco, this is something that Asseco has always tried to do, and actually this is how Asseco established its position. You know, this was a startup in the early 90s. It's a few people company that decided to write software for a small bank. The term startup was not used back then, but if you look at the actual happenings, this was purely a startup case. But the bet was on products, yes, not to sell services which can be replaced fairly easily, but to have products, have intellectual property. So my belief is look for ideas to make products, and in IT, the investment you have to make, if you have a really good idea, is feasible. I mean, you can do it because there is so many financial institutions or firms who are willing to invest and ready to put the money out for your idea, that if you have the right vision, this is doable nowadays. Again, you know, comparing to the situation when Asseco was starting in early 90s, sometimes my boss Adam Gural is being asked, did he have a vision that one day he will become a 7 billion company operating in 50 countries and having all these different products and so on? And the humble and true answer is that he didn't think about that. Yes, he was just thinking, okay, let's make this product and let's find clients and let's serve them well so they will be happy, and then move on. And he was doing that. So that's. And I guess that principle applies still today. And one last thing which I want to mention, especially when we're thinking about, we are mostly young people who are at the beginning of your careers, and probably some of you own companies or are thinking of starting a company. In my opinion, today there are two types of companies in the world, not just in Poland, anywhere in the world. There are companies for the clients and companies for the bankers, with all due respect to the bank. And the companies for the clients, what they do, they develop something. They have a product or service, they have some offer for which there is a demand and for which there is a client who is ready to pay substantial amount. I mean, an amount which covers my cost and lets me make some money. And that's a traditional way. Some would say that's an old-fashioned way, which I'm an older guy, so I believe in it wholeheartedly. There is another type of firms today, which are for the financial institutions. This is an idea of having a product not for the end client, but have the product which somebody will believe is a good product and will put the money out. I'm not saying that this is a wrong approach, because at the end of the day, business is about making money. I'm just saying that it's good to know which way you want to go. Yes, whether you're really focused that I want to have the product and have an offer that somebody will use, or have a product or an offer that I will find the investor who will pay me. And some companies are making their business model just based on attracting the financial investors and not really thinking too much about whether this product will be successful at the end of the day. Time will tell. Probably it's never like either or. We will have both. But it's good from when you're starting a company to really think and decide for yourself which way you're going. Okay, I guess I spoke too long.
2 words to add on what Andrzej said on this product development need. Looking from a customer perspective, we see more and more of the software developer companies that are coming to us. It's not only to produce what we ask them to do, but they are coming with their new ideas. That they learn, they get experience from the market, and that they are trying to be innovative. So we see them more and more coming with their own ideas that they are trying to sell us, to attract us. And also the report shows that majority of revenues that are made by companies are reinvested in development. So I think that slowly moves from just being a service provider to some kind of a producer and innovator.
Okay, but then if we come back to these niche areas, right? Because I understand that majority of your income comes from clients outside Poland, right? So do you think that there are any specific areas that we are better than anyone else? I don't know, is it cybersecurity or anything that is top of your mind?
So definitely something that helps a lot in Poland is that we all know we have got great IT skills. And comparing to various markets, we know that we have got a very focused on a specific subject education. Not to comment negatively on the abroad education, but very often their IT skills are part of a degree in a broader university. Here in Poland, we have got very good science university. Where that helps, for example, now we see this big market in AI, ML, which in Comarch's case, we are not only using in order to stay competitive in our traditional activities, but also we bring new technologies and new solutions. To give specific example, two of our biggest operations are in telecom and in loyalty sector, and loyalty is where I work. So I gave these examples of airlines, and I'll be basing on that since I've got the most experience here. Providing just great functionalities for those airlines that, like adding new flashy aspects like collecting points altogether when you fly, it's all great, it's for the end users. But we need to do something else than our competitors in order to also convince the company that at the end of the day, the loyalty program that they provide is the monetary bank, because each loyalty point holds a value. And if that point is used in a wrong way, so we mean frauds, that company is making loss. So where our AI ML experience comes, we build now the engine that prevents the frauds. So rather than being reactive, we are proactive. And for now, Comarch is the only company that is doing that for fraud prevention, specifically in loyalty sector. So we have got a lot of companies doing that in finance, but not for loyalty. So that's where we see our niche, AI, ML, using that specifically in the chosen branch. But also, it's important to stay competitive in terms of coming up with new solutions. So, for example, using healthcare aspects, targeting the growing audience, the growing generations, the elderly generations. So, for example, like bracelets that are measuring our health.
So the IoT, yeah.
Exactly, all the IoT solutions. If we talk about our niche and going back to what I started, the IT skills that we have got, let's be honest, our AI ML solution is as good as the best person that we employ. So if we have got good skilled people, that means we have got good solution.
Okay, perfect. So Jenny, I think that you are in a do you want to contribute to this one, or I wanted to ask you something else.
Yeah, go for it.
Because so Jenny is she's based in San Francisco and she works for a Polish IT company, right?
I do.
So
Well,
you have a little bit different perspective, yeah?
I do. Yeah.
Kind of. How do you see from the US perspective the Polish companies, right? Because there's something also for you personally that you decided to join.
I did. Yeah, I did.
Booksy, right?
Which is a little crazy when you think about it, right? Like, how do you end up going from California to Warsaw in November? I think so. Our company's founders also had a history of IT. And they really came with this model that you described, where they knew B to B to C, right? And so when they entered into a marketplace model, they flipped it. And instead of the very American approach of consumer first, they built it as a SaaS product first, sold it into merchants, and are now trying to build a marketplace on top of it. It's actually a really innovative model. It's really interesting, and it came out of the culture of Poland in a way that it wouldn't have out of Silicon Valley. When you pair that with the cost efficiencies of running in Poland, plus the technical talent that you guys have here, the amount of talent that we have at Booksy is the equivalent of what I had in some of my companies post-IPO. So when you think of your ability to scale quickly and move into a global marketplace, I mean, it's unbelievably exciting for somebody like me to come in and work with such a talented pool of people.
Okay.
So just to give you a perspective from professional services, as I said, we are a software consulting company, and Andrzej talked about product versus services. So for us, of course, as you mentioned, the competition is huge on the software development market. And we compete against strategic consultants, against digital agencies, big four companies with the suffixes digital, so and software houses. So there's plenty of competition. But it also creates a huge opportunity because right now we can see a huge consolidation on the market, and we want to take part in it. So we can create alliances, partnerships. We can merge and acquire companies, and this is the direction we want to take. But the real fierce competition is actually on the employee market, and this is what Agnieszka talked about, that for me, if I have to choose a place where we need to invest, this is education. And all of our companies should invest in education at a very early stage, primary schools, high schools later on, and also cross-skilling later on. So it has never been easier to change a profession and to enter technology sector. It is a great opportunity for anyone to change the skills, because right now you have languages where it takes 6 months, a year to actually get into the IT sector. And I think this is the major step for us to change the education system in Poland and consolidate the market on the professional services market.
So you mentioned the consolidation, and that's actually also an important and interesting topic, because when we refer back to the report, it says that 89% of these companies that you surveyed were profitable on the first year after the first year of their operations, right? So that's actually not a really big incentive to take a VC money, right? So out of my panelists, only Booksy is on that, let's say, aggressive VC path. How do you see yourself growing? You said acquisitions, right? What are your tactics and strategies? Do you grow organically, or do you also, let's say, acquire companies abroad or in Poland? What's your take on that?
So in case of Comarch, it's mainly organic growth. So we were set up 25 years ago by the professor of science, who is still actively involved, and his family owns over 70% of shares, and you can really feel that influence of the science and being academic, that there is a huge focus on R&D investment. So we rely on own reinvestment of revenues. So that's approximately 15% on an annual basis. So to put that in numbers, it's over 180 millions every year that's put into R&D. That's for development of the products, but also going into different countries and opening the offices, hence the presence in 90 countries all over the world. So that's mainly for going and looking for employees in the local market. Typically, we also have got someone from Poland as well to be bridging this gap. But that combination of local and someone from the Comar head office seems to be the mix that works the best for us. And rarely it's through the acquisition of the companies, in our case.
Cool. Andrzej, where do you go from 8,000 employees?
Well, you know, in case of Asseco, the story is mainly acquisitions. So once the Asseco established itself in Poland, then which was about over 10 years actually, then we started acquiring companies. And the idea for growth is to acquire a company. And basically when you acquire a company, it's you acquire a lot of things. You acquire, first of the people who started the company, who had the idea, who found the determination to develop some offering, be it products or services, and they found clients, and they're established on the market. So you get the people and their brain power and their energy. Of course, you get the clients, you get the IP of the products and so on, and you get the local presence, which then you can build on. It costs because acquiring, you have to pay money for the company you're buying, whatever you're taking over 50% shares or 100 or whatever number, but it quickens your way to the market. So you can use that company to bring other products from the group, and that's how we do it. So the company we acquire primarily, at least initially, remains the same and does business the same way it used to do before being acquired, but over time, we are getting them to promote other Asseco products from other countries, and of course their products get into the portfolio of the group. And this is when we talk to those companies, to the owners of the companies, when we talk about acquisitions, the discussion basically is the owner of the company says, why would I sell my shares to you? If I'm successful, I'm doing good, why would I have an investor and come and take away part of my company? And the only reason they do it normally is they believe that being part of the group, they will grow faster, they will have more opportunities, and that's exactly what happens. So acquisitions definitely is a big well, it's costly way, but Asseco managed to run its business the way that we can afford it. Second thing, of course, is to have the innovation in-house, and sometimes it's even more difficult because in-house people are focused on their daily operations and finding the balance between how much time and effort you can devote to R&D, to innovation versus serving the daily business. That's a tough discussion, and I'm afraid, well, I'm not aware of any golden recipes for that. It's more like try and then maybe try something else, and keep on searching for the optimum. However, we have initiatives like this Asseco Innovation Hub that we try to bring people with the startup ideas, and we have a process to select them and then support them and then bring their product into the offering. So both ways is actually applicable. A lot depends on the company and the idea you have.
Oleg, question to you. So also referring back to the report, you're also representing International Bank. There is a very interesting aspect in the report on Polish IT companies going global, right? And where do they have where do they have clients from, right? So like over 60% of clients are from the US, 30% of the companies, they only have clients from outside of Poland, right? So can you give us a little bit of a zoom into this aspect also from the report?
Yeah, I think there are a few numbers that are worth to share, and we are surprised. We know that IT companies, the software companies are going global, but the numbers were really surprising. That only 7% of the clients said they are not planning to grow their sales abroad. only 5% of clients see Poland as a key growth country. So like 95% knows that their growth will be abroad. Right. 1/3 of the companies, as you mentioned, has portfolio of only foreign clients. So, you know, this definitely exploring, I would say, the competitive advantage that Polish market has at this stage. Yeah, we have well-educated people and some cost advantage still over the Western counterparties. And when we ask about some obstacles of going abroad, because it's also interesting what kind of problems companies see, they say lack of the partner on the local market knowing local specifics. So somehow, as you mentioned, going abroad, you need somebody on the ground to understand the market. Lack of sales force in particular markets, and problems with payment collection abroad, which makes me pleased as bank can come there and help somehow in this aspect. And because of those three factors, companies currently go US, UK, Germany, so developed markets. There is still some lack of trust in more exotic markets. However, the report shows there is appetite to go beyond the developed market and go really global towards what we can call more exotic countries.
I see Jenny holding my
I know,
mic there.
I'm
Okay.
so excited. I'm the local person who they hired to like help them take a local market. So yeah, Booksy is global. They had exactly the problem that you described, right? Which is how do you get product market fit in a market you know nothing about? Which is extraordinarily hard to do. And so they hired me, but a lot of other locals to help sort of figure that out. And it's funny, the things that you get right and the things that you get wrong, right? Some things Booksy definitely got right. Other things it was like, oh, okay, like that's an interesting test market. Could we add another one? But to your point about exotics, we're actually also in Brazil and South Africa. And it's been interesting because there are more similarities than differences. And so I wouldn't be as hesitant to go into those markets as you might be on the surface. Yes, there's a language barrier. Everybody in Poland seems to be really good at foreign languages, so our team doesn't seem to have a big problem with it. But, you know, we've been pretty effective at selling into some of these markets that wouldn't be a traditional place for a company to start out in.
Cool. Małgosia, your company is what, 100% business outside Poland?
Yes, it is. So when I think about local versus global, I think we have been tremendously successful because we discovered pretty early on that it doesn't matter. So my generation, definitely your generation, we don't have borders, political borders in our minds. And technology, knowledge sharing, these are disciplines that should flow freely and should not have borders either. And so we try to focus on the value proposition for our clients rather than whether to build communication or strategy for each country separately. It is a simple value proposition for the customer. It's not for the country.
Okay. Okay, we haven't covered even half of the questions and we're like 10 minutes to finish the question. I hope you have a lot of time. One thing, because I see also a lot of people here, young people who probably, you know, shaping their careers for the future. You're in the market, some of you are relatively new, some of you are quite some time. How do you foresee what kind of skills will we need here in Poland in whatever 5-10 years, you know, so that our audience could potentially hear from you, you know, where to go. We actually, I've been yesterday at the lecture at the Warsaw University, and we met with one of the top programmers, students there, and we asked them, you know, how do they profile themselves, you know, how do they choose their specializations? And the answer was, we don't. I mean, they do general stuff because they don't know where to go, right? So it's changing so much. So maybe you can give us a hint a little bit.
if I can. Well, we all know all those buzzwords that I also mentioned, AI, ML, but it is happening. We all know about cloud, and it will not change. But where it all comes from, it comes from the fact that the clients want something different. Yes, they want easier scalability, they want lighter applications, so we need to listen to that. First of all, what the companies that we serve want. How that translates, how those business requirements then translate into the technology. So if you want cloud, we need to provide the applications that can be hosted in cloud, because let's be honest, not every application can do that. What that means then, the application needs to be lighter, it needs to be designed using the easily available solutions on the market. And that connects with the question or matter that you mentioned, that some people don't know exactly what they want to do. They don't know if they want to work for Comarch and develop software for airlines. They just want to do something exciting. Maybe in 2 years they will change their mind. So what we as the IT companies need to also offer is, yes, in-house products are great, but using open source solutions that are available on the market, because this way the employees can come in, learn, and then can replicate those skills also going somewhere else. This way we give the employees opportunity to not to be closed once they come into one company. So using the open source solutions definitely is required, but it's also beneficial for the staff. And second thing that we are seeing is the influence and impact of the UI UX. Years ago, it used to be a secondary aspect. Now we see that it's an integral part of the product development. So definitely a good way to be educated.
Oleg, anything about this in your report?
Okay, I don't think we have much of that on the report, but let me share some of my observations on the market, on the young entrepreneurs. It's often that the software developers is a kind of a one-man show. There's the owner, the founder who runs all in the company. And at a certain stage, he will face the dilemma of which areas to focus. And you don't have to be shy to outsource stuff. Let some partners, expertise do the stuff for you. Let the bank do the finance. Let the marketing agency do the marketing. But focus on your core business and the way you want to develop. And the one skill I would mention from the customer perspective, developing sales skills in the company is important. Lots of the software developers are coming to us, great products, great knowledge, great presentation, but the sales pitch is somehow not there, not understanding your customer. Don't be shy to hire someone who works for a particular industry and you want to focus on that industry. He will understand the problem, he will speak the language that your customers do. Your customers are not always IT people. So you need to find the way to communicate with them. And one of the things that we provide for in our program for software developers is a kind of a business manager mentoring. So some of the senior managers from our bank provides business mentoring to the companies, helping them to pitch on global financial clients, pitch on public sector in Poland with the expertise that we have. So gain the knowledge and get the support from experts from outside.
Okay, 5 minutes left. Anyone want to contribute to that?
Yeah. I've always had a very specific hiring policy around this, and if I can give you one piece of advice, it would be learn how to learn. There's always a new piece of technology. There's always a new trend. There's always something different. And if you want your career to last not 5 years, but 20 or 30 or 40 years, you need to know how to adapt to the next technology, because they're constantly being replaced, and it's a very, very high-paced industry.
Cool, very well. How to kick off your career? Come on.
In IT?
Yeah, sure.
So as I previously stated, I think it has never been easier before. And so we start at a really early age. We're born with smartphones today. That is great. We are waiting for this generation to come on the marketplace. But right now, it is quite easy to change your skill. And what Jenny said, learn how to learn. I think this is the most crucial thing that that we have to stress right now, because still in the 90s, I remember my parents could have a brilliant career just because they knew English. And right now, everyone knows technology. So many people know technology, but not everyone is eager to learn something new every day. And being able to keep up with this space, this is the future.
Okay.
Michał, may I
Sure, Andrzej. I'm just saying because the clock is not here, the clock is there, so I need to go like this, and
So basically, I need to pitch this to all of you, since many of you are probably still thinking which way you're going. A couple more things on top of artificial intelligence and machine learning, or data science as such, which are of course are very high potential areas. But one is cybersecurity. And I don't need to convince anybody that with so much things moving from the analog or normal life into digital space, the cybercrime and the cyber threats are becoming more and more overwhelming and present every day. So we have a total lack, or a big needs in terms of skills and talent in the area of cybersecurity. And so that's one area. And if you have some skills for that, mindset for that, interest in that, this is definitely great career opportunities. And second one, which will not surprise you that I mention it, is cloud. And still, we in Poland, but not only in Poland, Western Europe as well, even worldwide, we are still at the beginning of the cloud. This beginning has lasted last 10 years, but it's still the beginning of the cloud. So anything related to writing software for the cloud, moving installations to the cloud, architecture, IT architecture in the cloud, cloud security, anything cloud related, huge potential there. And the last thing I want to say, especially that this is this conference and not something else, we need more women in IT. And for the very practical reasons, we need more women in IT. If I look at ASECO, definitely we are not. This is predominantly a men's territory, and this is not good. So we need you to apply for those jobs, and you have. Either in your own companies or in companies like ours, the great future, and we really need more women in IT, which would be very good for IT and for women. Yes? So hope some of you will consider that and apply. Thank you.
Okay, perfect. Hey, thank you very much for all your great comments, and I'm pretty sure that the Polish IT companies, regardless if they take a VC track or organic growth, will grow in the right way, and will successfully compete with others. And yeah, I'm looking forward to probably meeting and seeing you here next year. And thank you again for sharing the data from report. Please have a round of applause for our panelists, and enjoy the rest of the conference and the rest of the days. 10 o'clock. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for this panel. To all of you, you have the option of either staying here and checking out all the exhibits, networking amongst yourselves, which is always a good idea, or heading off to the main stage for keynote speeches, which will be starting shortly. And we will return to this stage at 12 o'clock. So please keep your eyes peeled for that. Thank you.